Hi, everybody. The following dysfunctional gaming program was filmed in front of a live Twitch audience.
Hey, what's happening? Welcome to Dysfunctional Gaming's Talking D&D. Happy holidays. Happy 420. Hope everyone's having a wonderful afternoon on a nice Tuesday.
It's fucking gorgeous outside.
I'm Thundercat0420. To my left is GM Patch Nasty.
Hello there.
Today we're going to be talking about all the fun races in Dungeons & Dragons.
Like foot and cart.
Yep.
Oh,
exactly.
Nice. Donkey,
Kart races,
dinosaur.
donkey races, exactly. We could do that if you want to talk about that. That's another thing. We could do that next week as the DMs thing. We'll talk about races.
Yes.
So we could we can go over that today. Some races but what did we talk about last week? We talked about dragons.
We talked about the second D in D&D. We talked about dragons, both good and bad, or whatever dragon you want to make, whatever dragon, because you're a person and you decide what you want to do in your game.
And we dropped the dragon in.
Scary.
We dropped a dragon into our story as well. And so if you want to check that out, we have it up on Anchor, and we also have it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and we have it on
all
YouTube.
the podcasts. Listen to it on every single one of them.
We also have it on YouTube if you want to go watch it. A shorter edited version. Not much shorter. You just don't get
30 seconds.
You just don't get the commercial break in the middle.
That beer tasted funny. I'm sorry.
So let's talk about races. So,
all right. My favorite is foot.
we briefly went over. I like boat races or jet ski races. We briefly went over races when we first started. I believe when we created Carlin,
we touched on them.
We touched on them a little bit. So today we decided that we were going to get a little bit more in depth and to give it a go on all of them at once. Let's go. So why don't we start?
Sweet.
It's
alphabetical.
Give us the first race in the player's handbook.
The first race in the player's handbook would actually be the Dwarven Race. Quite a short and stout, clans and kingdoms, all that good stuff.
All right,
500 meters. What up, Umlau?
I am a big fan of the dwarfs. I've always liked that they're like the hardy, brotherly group. Very clan oriented, always there to back each other up type deal. That's what I've always liked about the dwarf race.
Which is funny because you're a big fisherman and dwarves hate boats.
Yeah, well, that has nothing to do with anything. I don't like being out in the sea. I can go on a lake.
Yep. I just read that and I went, huh, that's funny.
So, what about the dwarfs really make them stand out?
Well, I mean, they're short and they're stout, so they're quite possibly your kind of tropish D&D races. I mean, I'm gonna say that word a lot. To me, I like that they have a good memory and they hold a grudge. That sticks out to me from dwarves. And the whole mining, like gold and precious gems, is kind of neat. Unless you get into like hill dwarves and stuff.
True. And
plus, they can live for a long time.
And they know their stone.
But
so do we talk? Should we go into like their traits more, or should we move
Well,
on
I
to
mean,
the
that'll
next.
start. Let's go right into it. I mean, if we're gonna full delve into it, let's go
Okay,
right
so-
into.
So dwarfs get an ability score increase to their Constitution. By 2. It goes up by 2, so they have a better Constitution to start the game than most races.
That's because they're short and stout and hardy. That kind of explains the ability score increase.
And they do
Go
a
on.
lot of drinking, so they're good at taking poison.
Yeah, that would you be calling the dwarven resiliency.
Yes. Tell me about that.
Well, since we are big drinkers, and we're bearded people, typically we drink a lot, and by a lot I mean a lot. So we have resistance to poisons. So when we do our drinking checks, we have advantage on them Constitution saving throws.
Also, you are almost able to live about 350 years on
Absolutely.
average. That's an average. So, gotta think maybe 400, 450 would be like their max.
That's a long time to hold a grudge.
And most of them are lean towards being good.
Well, that's because typically, if you're talking about evil dwarves, you'd be using the fancy word. It's called Durigar, and they live in the Underdark.
And
They're not
they're
going
very
to be in your
lawful.
player's handbook.
They're very lawful. They like to follow the rules.
But see, that's when you can get into the you don't really have to go into the alignment too much. It's kind of like a backstory. So if you want to be like a chaotic dwarf, you could kind of explain in your backstory how you're not really lawful because you kind of left your kingdom or your
Okay.
clan. Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, no, this is what the player's handbook, they tend to be lawful and they tend to be good. That's all.
Oh, that's all.
I wanted to talk to you about something I think that you brought today for D&D vocab. What is size?
So I'm gonna stop the accent now so I can talk to you in GM patch terms. This is not me as an NPC. Size is something that most players don't really think about too much until they want to get a mount. Size, typically for your player races, you're medium. That means you're 1 square on a battle map. If you're small, you're still that 1 square. You're just short, and you can go through other people's other friendly spaces. Once you start getting up into the larger sizes, like your wolves, or I think the Minotaur is actually a large player race as I'm looking. Size is the thing that really matters, so I'm told. Well, absolutely.
Oh, you dirty, dirty mind, umlaut.
But the Minotaur takes up 4 spaces. So when it's on a battle map or you're trying to go through a dungeon that's got a tight corridor, you better hope that someone like a wizard has reduce or not enlarge. Doesn't cast you on that. But it's like we were talking about with dragons. As dragons get older, they typically start at large, like 9 or 4 squares, but they can also fly.
Yep.
But once you get into the huge, that's I believe 9 squares on a battle grid, and at that point, that's when I start going, okay, as this is going to be a team effort at the player side. On the DM, it's like, what are they going to do? But sizes, you're always going to be medium unless your size tells you otherwise. Most things that are bigger, like Goliath, they are medium in size, but their carrying capacities are bigger because they have a athletic build or something like that.
And that only really matters in battle combat terms or walking through a
dungeon.
A dungeon. Hey, Disto.
Or in the other thing, Disto.
Good.
There we go. It also matters when you're getting a mount because you need a size bigger than you. Double D, important to reach as it is tends to follow size. Yes, but with players, we don't really not a lot of reach.
You're
goes
medium
on.
still.
Yeah, you're medium. But if you're getting a mount, it's got to be a size bigger than you. That's why horses are considered large beasts.
Correct.
Or
alright,
for my Warforged Barbarian, probably would need an elephant because he weighs like 700 pounds, which would
and
be
if that's
fucking
that's
awesome.
and that's when you want to get into the carrying capacity, which is something completely different.
Yep.
Because you could get a large, you are still medium, and a large thing should be able to carry you, except you're heavy, so you'd have to be carrying capacity at that point. But moving on, we're going to talk about speed, which is going to be my D&D vocab this week. And it's going to be more of like movement than just speed, because as a race, you have a specific speed that you're given. Dwarves are given 25 feet. Humans and taller races are normally given 30 feet. And like halflings and gnomes, I think, are 25 as well. So the smaller races have a little less speed. But I think movement is a better way to put it, because you can actually, your speed, if you have a climbing speed, if you get a climbing speed from one of your races, you can, and your climb is the same as your movement. You could walk, say you have 30 feet, you could walk 15 feet and still use that other 15 to climb. So you can still, don't think that your movement's over once you stop your speed. You know what I mean? If you have a climbing speed of 40 and you move 30 feet and you can only walk 30 feet, you can go over to the wall 30 feet. You still have 10 feet to climb, because your climbing is still has 10 feet on it. So just keep that in mind when you're playing as different races.
And typically, if you're an Aarakocra, why are you going to walk? You have wings.
Yep. True.
Yep.
Or a variant tiefling.
Meh.
Or a dragonborn that was given wings.
That's a nice DM right there.
Yeah, I think I know one.
Yep. Not me.
All right, yeah, so moving past speed now, dwarves are given a trait called dark vision. I think we talked about dark vision when we were talking about
great
dungeons.
length we did. Yes, we did.
Accustomed to the life underground, you have superior vision in the dark and dim conditions. You can see in dim light within 60 feet of you, as if it were bright light, and in darkness as if it were dim light. You can't discern color in darkness, only shades of gray.
I will get by. Boom. No deadheads? All right.
And what's dwarven combat trading?
So typically when we come out, we're usually given a few things like a battle axe, a hand axe, a light hammer, and a war hammer. We be training with them. Those are what we call baby toys.
Baby toys.
So we know how to use them coming out the womb. Like we know how to braid our beards and know how to use a battle axe.
All right, and you're also pretty good with either smith's tools, brewer's supplies, or mason's tools, right?
I typically, if I be making a dwarf, I would be going with the brewer's tools just because I'm a hophead. I like a good beer, so it's always fun to challenge your DM to make up some silly beers as you're going traveling. We're also really good at looking at rocks. We got stone cannon. You want to explain that for the people so they don't have to understand my silly Scottish accent?
Whenever you make a history check, intelligence/history check, related to some sort of stonework, you have proficiency in that skill, so you can add your proficiency bonus to it.
Hey,
cool.
Disto, good. He will survive, my man.
So you can get your proficiency bonus when you roll for that check, because of stone.
Oh, absolutely. So typically, if your DM's bringing you into ruins or like an underground dungeon, be like, oh, does this look familiar to me? Because then you might find the little things that he might have on a piece of paper that he wants to read, but no one wants to let him read it.
What about languages? You get, common and dwarfish. That's it.
Oh, that's easy. That's us. once again, Dwarvish it's a lot of hard R's and all that, and it kind of spills into like other words that we start to use, Guttural noises, loud consonants, and then I start swearing in Elvish. If
So
I know Elvish.
Are you a hill dwarf or a mountain dwarf?
Oh, I'd be a mountain dwarf.
Right,
I mean,
so
if you're...
tell me about what mountain dwarfs do.
Well, typically we're a little bit stronger than your average hill dwarf, because those ones are wise ones, and we're just strong. We be swinging in pickaxe all day long.
Gotcha.
We also know how to use armor, since most of our people are taken by drow, since we live in mountains.
That's
As opposed to the hill dwarf, which is they're usually more sturdier, so their hit point maximum goes up by 1 every level. And that's dwarves.
Yep. They seem to remember stuff a little bit better too.
Yo, we need to become famous.
Disto is a mod. Disto. Dysfunctional dad is a mod. Doop.
Depends on
Yeah.
Disto. So Disto is a mod, and he learned how to swing his dwarven hammer right there. That'd be the dwarven banhammer.
Are all dwarves Scottish? No, but all Scots are dwarves.
Absolutely. Typically, I mean, you could really just use kind of like any voice that you really want for a dwarf.
You could be Joseph.
Yeah. I mean, you could try a little bit like a little bit longer with the words, and just a little bit unknowledgeable. Or you could be Mrs. Doubtfire. That's always a fun one to do.
Hello.
I'm sorry, audio listeners. I did read his proposition. I wanted to be famous, but you know how to swing that dwarven hammer.
All right. So let's talk about elves, dwarves' best friends.
Well, I mean, we're really not fans of the elves because we've been worrying. I'm in love. I mean, this is love. It's always giggling. Listen to it. Yeah. Thank you, Uma. Most elves are kind of a little pretentious when they talk to me. So it's a little Rickman-esque. Very slender and graceful as Rickman is. And we're very condescending.
They're very old. They can live to be very old.
Longer than the Metatron, even, who was played by Alan Rickman in Dogma. Most of us live in hidden woodland realms that we don't or choose to let people into. I'm sorry, I was just riffing there.
Why do you travel?
I haven't read that far. It's usually limited, though a few elves make good by trading crafted items for metal.
And they like to look for stuff.
We like stuff.
They like to look around and see all the beauty in the world. And then they meet all of the other races and they go, "Oh man, this is what we are up against."
Or we just go, "Well, this is what we're up against."
So, elves get an ability score increase to their dexterity by 2 because they're very nimble.
That is correct. 10 points to Slytherin.
They reach their physical maturity at about the same age as humans, so between
their 20s,
15 to 25.
Unless you're like us, it would be your late mid 30s.
Yes. It happened like in a day, and then now I started like losing my hair right afterwards.
I haven't gotten to that part.
They could live up to like 750, 800 years old.
Yes, some of us are older than that. And most of us Alignment wise, we're believers in aspects of chaos, except for the drow, which are vicious and dangerous. They're more often evil than not. Keep it in.
How tall are you guys?
Usually under to over 6 feet tall and slender builds. We would be considered medium.
And you can walk like 30 feet, right?
As most races do. Yes. To you, Mr. Thunder.
Are you also able to see in the dark?
Yes, we are. Typically, we all see about 60 feet in the dark with dark vision. Except for the drow, they see 120 feet. Most of us are also very proficient in perception, since we like to keep an eye on things.
So you're saying that I would get proficiency in the perception skill?
Yes, that is what I am saying.
Tell me about your Fey ancestry.
Well, with the Fae, we have advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and magic cannot put us to sleep. Since we don't need to sleep, we meditate deeply, remaining semi-conscious for 4 hours a day. And the other 4, while we're resting, we can do short tasks to get our full 8 hours like a human. Do you know what we typically speak, Mr. Thundercat?
Probably Elvish.
We also know how to speak Common as well, so we can conversate with the small minds like you.
Are you a high elf? Because I would love to be a high elf too.
I can tell by your giggles, Mr. Thundercat, that you may already be a high elf, and your intelligence score would go up by 1. You would also be proficient with such baby tools as the short man who was just here said, which would be the long sword, short bow, and long bow. To the next page. You also have innate magical abilities, so you can pick a cantrip from the wizard spell list using intelligence as your casting modifier.
I think I
And
just
since
found my new character for when we play. I wanted to be a wizard. I'm going to be an elf wizard.
Well, keep in mind that you can also speak 1 extra language.
Deep speech all the time. I said hello in deep speech.
And then you could have like the tree elves, dude.
Yo!
Yeah, bro. Like we're like wood
Hey,
elves.
Tatum, what's up, man?
Yeah. Like we're kind of wise, and it goes up by 1. That'd be your wisdom, right? And once again, we are also proficient with them baby tools. It would be the long sword, the short bow, and the long bow. But since we are the wood elves and like to move amongst the trees, we get an extra 5 feet of movement, bro.
You can jump further.
Yeah, man, we can get higher. And we can also even hide, like in foliage and heavy rain and snow and mist and other natural phenomena. I missed school that day.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty dope, bro.
What about your distant cousins, the Dark Elves?
Yeah, we're talking here. This is the Underdog Elves, yes, sir. Typically, we're a little bit more charismatic than the other type of elves that you're accustomed to. Unlike that wooden elf friend, he was actually kind of charismatic. I liked him, but our charisma goes up by 1. As the condescending prick over there said, our dark vision's 120 feet up. That's a hard thing that you can't take away from us. The only downfall is if we're out in the sunlight, it hurts our eyes because we're used to being underground and stealing people. I mean, being underground and finding people. But we also know how to do some of our dark magics. Magics. We can cast Dancing Light as a cantrip. And then at 3rd level, we can cast Fairy Fire. And we can do that every time we take a long rest. So every time we go to sleep, we can make you glow. Look out. And once we hit 5th level, oh boy, we'll hit you with that darkness spell.
Are you also proficient in any weapons or something?
Well, see, typically them elves up here, they use those fancy looking swords, those S words. I'm not really a big fan of them. We like them short ones; those are cool. Short S words are great. Rapiers and hand crossbows, that's more of a thing. We like to stick you in and shoot you. I mean, we like to.
I figure it's probably tight down there in some areas, so you probably have to have shorter weapons. Anyway.
Sure, just let me know whenever you come down here. I can certainly give you a guided tour with a collar.
Yes, they are the same thing as drow.
Absolutely, dark elves are drows.
Are drow, yes.
Just forget about everything you ever heard about us.
A lot of these races that we talk about have specific gods that they follow and stuff, but we're not going to cover those today. We'll be definitely covering those at another time.
Because imagination, you're the player. Make a backstory for it.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the Halfling.
Yeah. All right. Halflings. We're fun. I like being a halfling. Yeah. We're short, we're nimble, we're entertaining, and we're practical, and we blend in, and we're sometimes kind of very, very, very curious. I like things that are shiny.
Yep. You're really good at blending in the crowd if you need to.
Yep, absolutely. We're short. We're one of them races that are small in size, as opposed to most of the other races, which are medium. So we can, we're on Twitch. We can do that Assassin's Creed thing. We can just kind of blend in.
Most halflings live in small, peaceful communities with large farms and well-kept groves. They rarely build kingdoms of their own or even hold much land beyond their quiet shires.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes people like to call halflings hobbits, but I like to buck tradition. I don't have scuzzy feet like hobbits do. Have you ever seen their feet? They look scuzzy. Like real scuzzy.
Oh, why do you guys set out? What works like to explore?
Well, we gotta defend I gotta defend my house, or maybe I got friends who need help, or maybe it's a wild, wild world and I want to see what's in it.
Like it.
Or I've got a ring that I gotta put into a volcano.
True. You seem pretty nimble and dexterous.
Yep, we get a +2 to our dexterity both, so if you're gonna play a rogue, you should maybe be a halfling.
How old are you when you become an adult?
Oh yeah, I just hit adult too, so that's like 20. I'm like 22. Yeah. My dad's like 180 though. Granddad's 210. He lived a little bit longer than he should.
Wow.
Yep.
And most halflings are lawful good, right?
Most of them, unless they've been twisted and corrupted by the world. I don't know. I really haven't seen the world. It looks fun.
Halflings are my favorite race to make barbarians and monks out of. Cinematically glorious. I used halflings and made them have a pony brigade.
I'm a pony.
They were all on ponies. They were running around.
Clap, 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 clap.
Yeah, so most halflings are lawful good.
Yep.
Good-hearted and kind. And how tall are you?
I'm about under average. I'm about 2.5 feet tall, but most of us are like 3.5. I'm only like 20 pounds though.
So you're
30 when I'm soaking wet. Hee
You're pretty light. So you'd be a small character, right?
Yes, I would. I can walk between another character's legs. I'm sorry, I was interrupting you. Go on.
And your speed's only 25, right? Because your legs are too short.
That's right, because that's right. It's hard to get places. That's why I like to sit on people's shoulders. Give me a ride.
So say you were about to like jump off a building and trying to get onto another building, and you didn't roll, and you rolled a natural one. What would you get?
One of these, like one of those things in the chat that I see right there.
Yeah, critical fail.
There it is. Oh well, I'm lucky, so I can go ahead and re-roll that. Ha ha ha! I'm a halfling. I got a 10. I'm probably still gonna get hurt.
Yeah, you get lucky. You get to roll that again. And you're also brave, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing will get me.
So you have advantage on saving throws against being frightened.
You damn right.
And yes, you can move through any space of any creature that is one size larger than yours.
Yep. So if I got an elf buddy, I can go ahead and stab people in the kneecaps in between his knees and then back away. I don't know why I was jabbing him in the kneecaps. I'm going to apologize to him. Sorry, sir.
That's your teammate.
Oh, no, I meant the guy I was stabbing in the kneecaps.
Oh, okay. What about languages? What do you know?
Well, I know Common and Halfling. That's typically... It helps to know other halflings or people who've known halflings, because I like to teach people halfling. Like, hello, goodbye. Do you have any food?
Are you a Lightfoot or a Stout?
I'm a Lightfoot, as you can tell. I'm all smiles.
Okay, what happens when you're a Lightfoot? You get
Well, my charisma goes up by 1, so I'm naturally charismatic.
Okay.
And I'm also naturally stealthy because I'm small and I got nimble feet, so I can go ahead and attempt to hide in between my friend's legs while I stab that other dude in the kneecaps again. I'm sorry. Sorry, friend.
And what about your cousins? What are the differences between you two?
Well, I got a little bit of a paunch. So, my constitution's, my mom was half dwarf. My mom's a dwarf and Dad was human. So.
Oh yeah. Is that why you become a stout? Is that how you become a stout halfling now?
That's how it works. Well, I mean, my constitution
That's
goes
not
up
how
by
it
1.
works. That's not how it works. None of that is true. None of that is true. That's not how stout halflings are made.
But I've got a bit of a belly, so I've got a constitution buff by +1, and I have advantage on saving throws against poison and resistant to poison damage, so who knows, my dad might have been a dwarf.
Quite possibly. Moving on to humans. We all know what humans are. Yay. Moving on to the next thing. Dragonborn.
Hi.
Are you a proud dragon?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not like me, so I'm gonna keep this short and sweet.
Great. All the people want to know about you.
Oh, good. What people?
All the viewers on Twitch.
Hi, I'm a Dragonborn. I come from a clan that I don't want to talk about, because then you'll come and enslave us. Who knows? My name's
Okay.
Balthazar. I'm kind of proud, but I don't want to let you guys in on my heritage.
Can we see any of your color at all?
Well, it's all in my face. I'm red, so I've kind of got a predestined nature, as most people say.
And why is that? What's red? What's wrong with red?
Have you never heard about red dragons? Most of
So
them are evil.
Are you evil?
No, I'm talking to you right now. I haven't burned down your house or stabbed you in the gut.
So if you're a red dragon, you get to do fire damage, huh?
Yes, sir.
15-foot cone, is that like a trait that you get?
I can do that once a day, I think. Yeah, it's a day thing. Oh no, it's you can't use it until you complete a short or long rest. So after I take a nap, I can burn down your
Yep.
help you burn stuff. I can light your campfire.
Now, what about like the other colors? They do the same type of damages?
Well, if you're familiar with dragons and you listened to last week's episode, you might know what most of them dragons do, and we kind of do like a watered down version of it.
Gotcha. Well, that's interesting. So what else happens? Your strength. It looks like your strength is you're a lot stronger than most.
Yeah, and I'm kind of charismatic. That's why I'm here talking to you right now. The other guys kind of just sent me in here before we raid your town. Yeah, before we raid your town. I said the quiet part loud.
Good thing you passed that deception check.
You could.
Because of your charisma. How
Thanks.
old are you?
Well, I'm an adult now, so 21. Dad's about 75. Granddad passed away a while ago, but he was only like 82, and that was longer than expected. So about 80, I'll live to. Won't be long. We're not real dragons, so we don't live forever. Thank God. People suck.
So your alignments must all change and depend on basically the color that you are because of your temperament.
Yeah, it depends. Most of us over there, like that 5-headed bitch. I don't mind Bahamut. He's kind of a nice guy. Gold's not my color, though.
And what about your size?
Oh, I'm about 6 feet tall, medium, like most other races. I'm only like 280 pounds, but I gotta hit the gym again.
And you must only be able to walk 30 feet.
Yeah. I mean,
Gotcha.
if you have a nice DM who wants to give you wings, maybe he'll give you wings, but I do have a tail. I like my tail. He's my friend. If you've ever seen Eureka's Castle, it's kind of like that dragon, except I'm not green and nice.
And
kind of
then
nice.
so you must be also resistant to fire damage because you're a red dragon.
Oh, they didn't say you were. All right, you're exceeding expectations. They thought you were kind of dumb, but sure.
Well, we went over a lot of the stuff last week, so I figured that would.
It's okay. You did your research. Good for you, sir.
And you must be able to speak common. Obviously, you're speaking it to me, but
Yes,
what's
sir.
the language that Dragonborn speak?
Like dragons, we speak Draconic. Also, like those sniveling little lizard bitches, kobolds, they speak Draconic, but don't let them tell you that they're dragons because they're lizards.
All right. Well, it was great to meet you, Baltazar.
Yeah. Yep. Great. Sure. Which way is the bar?
I don't know where I don't even know where you're talking to me from. It looks like
I don't know either.
It looks like you're on some sort of elemental plane of light.
Oh, sorry. Hang on. Let me fix that. I'm gonna take an accurate description of what this town's gonna look like, right quick. There we go. Let me finish. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, well
All right.
done.
It was nice reporting from scene. I hope the rest of your whatever you're doing goes great.
Bye, bud.
Oh shit, son!
Oh
I
shit,
can't say that.
son.
TSO
Shoot.
with the host.
Man, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thanks for the host, buddy. All right, we're gonna move on from the Dragonborn over to the Gnome. Probably my favorite race in the book.
Oh, hi. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Tell me about some of the stuff that gnomes like.
Well, most of us, we're vibrant. We're kind of enthusiastic. We like talk with our hands. We're kind of concerned about being alive. That's more of my concern. Just gonna do a quick little cover. I'm a big fan of hills and wooded highlands. That's a good thing. I like those. Most of us can live in forests. Some of us even live underground. We're kind of we're a little bit of everything. We're like halflings and dwarves, and we're all mixed up. Our names, though, oh boy.
Yeah, tell us about your names.
Well, thank you very much for TSO GameX. That 1 month, 3 months of subscription. Oh
Dude,
boy.
what the fuck are you doing?
Well, see, dwarves, we like niggity names. So there's a famous one who I actually heard about. His name was Alston Strongfoot. Sorry, I'm old. Cursebreaker Jabblefoot Tarkleby? I think. I don't know. I'm probably getting confused. But as we do things, we kind of add a nickname to it. So, like, if I was a farm builder, I could be like a landowner. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not good with nicknames.
Okay. What about like One Shoe? If you were the guy that walked around with one shoe.
Yeah, that'd be a good nickname. Or like Jimmy 2 times Trebesky.
Yeah. Or what about Stumble Duck, the guy that like fell over a duck once?
Oh, good old Steven Stumble Duck Tree Planter Appleseed. I'm out of beer.
So he planted trees too.
Well, he did now.
Okay,
I
so
assume he
what,
planted trees.
what traits
He's probably the forest.
what traits do gnomes have?
Well, most of us, we're kind of smart. Our intelligence goes up by 2. I'm an adult at 40, as most modern people now. But I could live to be about 400, or maybe 350. We're kind of good. We're tricksters, so we like to have a little bit of fun. So that's fun. I'm small, like the halflings. We are small. Also have dark vision, like some people who can see underground. I also, since I'm very cunning, being a gnome, might I say, I have advantage on saving throws against magic if they make me do an intelligence or a wisdom or a charisma throw. Just because I'm a gnome, because I know my magic. Typically, most of us are magic. I speak
right.
Gnomish and Comish, as we're speaking Common right now. Gnomish, you really wouldn't get. It's like a lot of squeaks and animal noises, so, But I'm a forest gnome, so I like to talk to animals, because I can do that whenever I want, like our good friend Carlin, who, that story you're doing, good job. Good job, you. Our dexterity goes up by 1, but we also know how to make tiny illusions to get out of there, because self-preservation is always key.
What about your rock gnome cousins?
I don't like them. They're not my fan, because they live underground, and they don't like trees. But, however, like the dwarves, their constitution would go up, because they like rocks, I guess. They must eat them. So their constitution goes up by 1.
They must be created by elves and dwarfs.
Maybe, I guess. I don't think that's how that works. I don't know what he was talking about. Halflings are kind of dumb. Just to let you know. They're fast, but they're dumb.
All right, yeah, keep going. That's not true either. That doesn't happen.
Okay, so rock gnomes. They are like when they make. They like to make things. They're natural tinkerers. So whenever they're looking at like magical items or alchemical stuff or technology devices, they can add their proficiency bonus twice. Oh wow, this should be the bonus. Yeah.
Clip it.
But they also have proficiency in artisan's tools, which would be the tinkerer's tools. There it is. However, using these tools, they can spend an hour and 10 gold using materials to construct a tiny little clockwork device. And you can talk about more about those clockwork devices as I watch this clip.
Oh my gosh. The Clockwork Toy. The toy is a clockwork animal, monster, or person, such as a frog, mouse, bird, dragon, or soldier. When placed on the ground, the toy moves 5 feet across the ground on each of your turns in a random direction. It makes noises as appropriate to the creature it represents. You can have a fire starter. The device produces a miniature flame, which you can use to light a candle, torch, or campfire. Using the device requires your action. Music box. When open, this music box plays a single song at a moderate volume. The box stops playing when it reaches the song's end or when it's closed. Those are your little tinker tool things. Oh, that was great. Where's your censor button? I'll put it in the post.
My thing changed. No.
Thanks for watching. I'm gonna start
There it
putting
goes.
stuff. Oh, you just got a background. That's all you're doing. Nice.
Yep.
All right, so you can move on to half elves and kind of give a broad half elf idea. They're humans and elves put together.
They're a mix of humans and elves. Your charisma will go up by 2, and then you can pick 2 other ability scores that go up by 1. They're kind of, in my professional D&D opinion, the easiest race to put any class to, because you can put those 2+1s into the race that you like, the class that you are. Age is easy because they can be 20 to 180, so you can have those long adventures, maybe have it at another campaign. Chaotic bent on their heritage. Once again, alignment isn't really something you need to stick to. It's kind of flavor. Size, you're medium. You're 5 to 6 feet tall. Welcome to average height. Once again, speed, 30-foot walking. Dark vision. Unlike your human friends, you can see 60 feet in the dark. You also have the same Fey ancestry, being an elf. You can get the advantage on saving throws, being charmed, or magic can't put you to sleep. You get proficiency in 2 skills of your choice. And you speak Common, Elvish, and 1 other extra language that you speak.
That's it.
Yep. Half elves are easy.
Half orc.
Yeah. It's kind of like it's a little bit like the Dragonborn, but you know.
All right, tell me about how you look.
Mainly teeth, as you can kind of hear as I'm talking from the bottom of my jaw. We're tall and got pointy ears. We live in tribes and not like big cities. We're scarred because we battle a lot, but I'm really strong, so it gets a lot of places. You got any more questions there, friend, or can I go have a beer?
Oh, so you're strong and it looks like you have a good constitution too.
Absolutely. My strength goes up by 2, and my constitution would go up by 1, since we really don't have a lot of sub-races.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Being 15, I can legally drink whenever I want. Being a half-orc, I'm not really going to live past 75, though.
Are you a good half orc or bad half orc?
I can let you decide that one.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
As most races, once again, welcome to average height, 5 to 6 feet tall, and being medium and having a speed of 30 feet.
Right. You can see in the dark?
Yep, sure can. Makes it easier when trying to find a beer in the middle of the night.
All right.
Because of my teeth, though, it makes it a lot easier to scare people away. So when I'm intimidating them, I just flash them a little bit of teeth, and I have, you get proficiency in being mean.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What
Good.
about your endurance?
Oh, it's relentless. If you get me down to 0 HP, I just go ahead and drop to 1 instead, and then I'm gonna kick your ass. Being savage, when I score with a critical hit, I get to add another die. So on top of the critical, which is 2, I get to roll a third one.
That would be good if you were a barbarian too, huh?
Yes, sir. Brutal critical plus savage attacker, and if I was hitting a siege object and I was a siege monster, I would do all kinds of damage.
And what about your languages?
Well, as you can tell, I gotta know how to order a beer in common, and then if I'm at camp, I know how to speak orc.
Great.
Oh boy.
I think this might be last in the
It
player's
sure
handbook.
is. Absolutely. We have one
not-
more race.
But not least, that's for sure.
Well, it's kind of a little overused, if you ask me.
There's a few more races, though, that aren't in the player's handbook that are available, but we won't be getting to those today.
If you'd like to see more of them, you should go check out dndbeyond.com. That's DND, not D and D.
And we're
Go on.
not sponsored.
But we would like you to play more tabletop games.
And we'd love to be sponsored.
Yes. Please give us more of your money.
Tiefling, tell me about what makes you a tiefling.
Well, unlike the rest of those ninnies, we have an infernal bloodline. So I happen to be the great grandson of Mephistopheles himself.
Oh yeah, is that right?
Absolutely.
And if he heard this, would he be upset that you're telling everybody, or?
Oh, I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
All right. So tell me a little bit more about you.
Well, we're very self-reliant, and typically most of us are very suspicious of what your types of people think of us, being how I have horns and a tail, and I come from devil blood.
Okay, so that's terrifying. Are you like smarter? What happens when you're a tiefling in D&D?
Well, typically, most tieflings, before you get into the variance of us, we get an intelligence score +1, and our charisma is a +2. We live as long as our human counterparts, but we're not typically good like them. More chaotic, though. You never know what we could be underneath.
You must be medium if you're related to humans.
As are most races, we are average height and average speed.
So 30 feet speed, and then what about, can you see in the dark?
Yes, we certainly can, up to 60 feet.
Wonderful. And so do you have anything like special about you?
Well, being from an infernal legacy, I have a hellish resistance, so my fire damage is reduced by half. And
Oh,
I
nice.
also know thaumaturgy from the get-go. As soon as I reach 3rd level, I can cast Hellish Rebuke, which is one of the few reaction spells that you should certainly get if you could. And then when we hit 5th level, like the Drow, we can also cast the Darkness spell.
Tell me, what languages do you?
Well, we speak Common, since we can have this conversation with you now, and most of us speak Infernal, which is something that your ears would not be able to withstand, being that you're not on the plane of hell.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now I know there are variants of tieflings in other books, but could you be resistant to like cold damage? Because I know there's another layer of hell that's cold.
Oh, that would be the one from my great 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 grand uncle, Mephistopheles.
Yes.
The eighth layer of hell is not hot. It doesn't burn hot. It freezes hot. If you know what I mean. If you're
Okay.
cold state.
Gotcha.
Some of us even have wings, but that all depends on if your DM is being nice and wants to have people who can fly.
All right. Well, that's a good lineup of races that we just went over.
I believe we covered them all.
Yeah, we did. In the DM's guide is the Eric Cockra, right?
I believe that one is actually in the Elemental Evil or one
And
of
the
the
Sword
subsequent
Coast.
guys. Yeah, the same with Goliath. The DM has the Duragar and the Snurvneblin.
Yes, okay, that's the one I was thinking. And then in the Volos, you get the other races that they added.
They get Zeri, they get Yankee, the...
No, not even those ones. The
Lizard folk?
yeah, the lizard folk, the furbolgs,
Goblins.
tritons.
No, goblins aren't in the Volo.
No, the goblins are a monster race that you can play.
Yep.
So
But
yeah,
races are fun.
we got that. We got our vocab in. We did our races, our topic. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll be back talking about some past experiences with some races and our creation zone. We're gonna make a new race.
Sure. Well,
Question mark?
we'll throw some ideas at our DM.
We're gonna throw
and see
some
what he wants to
spaghetti
go.
at the wall.
Let's see what sticks. Good old
Yes.
spaghetti monster.
We'll be
What's on our
back
break?
in. We have Tony and Joe's. Don't forget to help out Tony and Joe's. They started a Patreon. Tony and Joe's Automart down by the docks was broken into. All of their merchandise was stolen, and they've been seeing some tough times. So this is just a journey of what's happened in their life so far, and I hope that anyone and everyone can just spare $3 of their bean money or their Texas hand jobs. Just someone. Don't just spare one. You can just spare it. $3. It's not a big deal.
$3 is probably that's a pittance if you were transferring it into gold, eh? Aye?
Yeah, that's nothing.
Absolutely.
Like a half a pack of baseball cards. All right, welcome back. We are moving on to the next part of our podcast, which is going to be past experiences with races. Go ahead, talk to me. Tell me about one of the times you played a race and you've had a blast.
I played just about every race except for Tiefling and always had fun. Like, it's one of those things that, like, being an NPC for, like, some games, like, I know when I was playing in Griff's campaign, like, I was like, can I be another character? So you want to write him off and, like, just have me be allies so they can get allies? And then deem me on that. So I could play weird races. Honestly, I had a blast playing Gad. Gad was probably my favorite race, being a turtle, to play because I knew that I wasn't going to live long. And the fact that I was a wizard and turtles have a base AC of 17 no matter what really, really helped. I am also in the Monday campaign that Umlaut's running. I'm playing a homebrewed race that I kind of sent some like feelers out to him. If you have an idea for something, talk to your DM. Like, always talk to your DM. Maybe they make oh, that sounds fucking cool. Like, that's how I'm a Pandursarin. Like, I made the Ursarin race, and then you have the brown Ursarin, the Pole Ursarin, and the Pandursarin. And they all have their own little niches. Like, so if you're like being a DM and a player, it kind of helps having that little balance. So players who are listening to this episode, if you have ideas, throw them by your DM. They might want to piggyback on it, and it sounds like a bunch of fun. DMs, if you're listening to this episode, listen to your players. If they want to be a weird race, talk it out with them. Like, if they want to be a Minotaur, that'd be cool. Maybe they'll wear like a hood all the time. Who knows?
Yep. I played a Kenku for a couple couple of
I forgot about that.
There's so much lore that Patch has written for the Ursurans that he made. It's enough to put into a book. It's absolutely amazing work. There you go. You should write
Honestly,
it out. Put it on DM's Guild.
So I'm gonna give a special shout out to Umlai right now. This is something that, as a player, I've never had. Like, you and I have never done this. We were in a campaign, like in a session. I think it was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And he sent us all a YouTube link that was like a super long story. Like, he voiced out, did a voice for, went the extra mile for. I was like, this is fucking dope. I liked the video first off. I didn't even care what the rest of it was. And then I listened to the story. I was like, this is deep. I like this. And I'll be honest with you, Umlau, most of that Ursarin stuff is me bullshitting, but I'm good at that. Like,
yeah, probably. I feel like I knew that.
Well, yes, please do. If you can, put it in the chat. It's dope. It's absolutely one of the best DM like handout. It was technically a handout in the age of virtual tabletop.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, like if we were playing Strahd and you sent me a fucking letter in the mail inviting me to Ravenloft, first of all, fuck you, because I know how terrified you are of scary shit. Secondly, brava. Oh my god, I want to play in this game.
Yeah, so I got to play at Kenku, that when I first met them, I had like basic words that I could say, and then I just started writing down every word that everybody said, and then I wrote down who said it and what accent, and I think you were DMing at the time.
I sure was, because
I think
it got blocked.
Put it in the Discord if you can.
Talking D&D, the talking tavern talk in Thundercats.
Tavern talk, yeah. Throw it in the tavern talk.
You keep talking, I'll tag him and tell him where to put it.
So, yeah, I was just writing down everything that everybody said, and I was writing down who said it and how they said it. So when you were DMing, you'd say it in one of the NPC's voices. I'd write down what NPC said it so I could remember what voices they were. And I remember one of them was Ricky.
It sure was. Fuck off.
All I was saying was fuck off all the time, just like Ricky would say it. So I thought that was hilarious. I liked creating
my favorite NPC.
Alston was probably hilarious. Was like one of my favorite races to run. Gnome. I just like being gnomes. I think having that little extra, what is it? Resistance to magic is just that like little bump to them is nice. And if you're playing a forest gnome, you can talk to little animals and make your DM have to make voices for all the animals. It's hilarious. That's always fun.
I love talking as animals because then I look at a stat block as a DM. Like, oh, you're a druid who can talk to animals? Okay, what's the intelligence of a deer?
Yep.
An 8? Okay, that's not bad. What's the intelligence of a rat? Okay, this is going to be fun.
Yep.
And then you can talk to Sal.
It was the way to go. It was the way to go. But yeah, he was also a paladin, so I could speak with animals as my oath.
You were a nature paladin? You were the
Oath
of the Ancients. That was the one.
So yeah, that was probably my favorite race to play.
Has there any like race that you've wanted to play?
There has been. I want to play an elf. I've never played an elf.
Like a full elf?
Full elf. I just don't think I don't know. I like playing short characters. I don't know why. I like playing short characters. Henry Crabgrass is the greatest speaking with non-humanoids of all time. If you've not seen it, it's Matt Mercer's shining moment.
Matt Mercer has a bunch of shining
I've seen Crabgrass one. I've seen the Crabgrass one. Yes. Well, I haven't seen it, but I've listened to it.
I've kind of always wanted to be a Minotaur. Like a little bit, just because it seems like a bunch of fun.
I haven't played a half orc either. I'd like to play a half orc. but I'd like to play a smart one, like a diplomat one that like he was one that created the peace between the orcs and the humans, and that's how his mom and his dad got together, because that's like he was the one that brought the clans together, or I don't know. It's like that's I don't know, something like that.
Would he sound like Mark Chang from the Fairly Odd Parents? Hello, I am here to speak upon the orcs' behalfs.
Probably not.
Okay, all right.
He'd probably be a mix between that and the Rickman.
Oh, so he would that's a real hard mix. We'll figure something out for that one. That's typically how I'll do. Like, I'll have a voice in my head amongst the many other voices in there, and I'll just be like, all right, what can I put that to either A, make it sound really funny, like have a Goliath who talks like this. Hello, my name is Grog Strongjaw. Or have an elf that talks like Alan Rickman, because that seems fucking hilarious.
Well, that was when I had my cleric in mind, my most recent one. I wanted him to sound smart, but then I realized that like the way he was doing the things with the group, because the group kind of took over without him being the person that I expected him to be. So he kind of devolved into
Ron Burgundy.
It just like slowly went there because I was like, this is where he's going. Like, this is how he is. He's like, he thinks he's in charge, but he's not in charge.
Absolutely. Yes. You were right. Do that.
Yes. But I'm special. Like,
the good thing is too, is even if you're a player, like, don't feel like you have to do a voice. I like to do voices. Just play D&D.
Right, just play to have fun.
Yeah. If your version of fun is doing a silly voice and breaking your co-host, do it. If
Totally
your
fine
version
with
of
me.
fun is being a murder hobo and that's the rest of the party, do it. I guess.
So we were going to do a creation zone, but we're kind of running long tonight. So we're going to skip creation zone and the story time stanza, and we'll move those to next week. We'll do some making a magic shop or something next week in the creation zone. Maybe we'll sit down and talk about some more races or some NPC stuff, but for now we're just gonna skip that, and we're gonna get into some stuff for next week, and we'll close out the night talking D&D. So next week we're gonna talk about shops. We're gonna talk about general stores. We're going to talk about magic shops. We're going to talk about magic item
healing
shops.
stores, apothecaries, haberdasheries,
Bazaars.
tailors, bazaars,
Even
black
restaurants, possibly.
The dude
Black
that comes
market.
up to you with a trench coat and says, "What are you buying?"
Or, hey, there's a guy that's named the dealer. You need to find him. He's the one that has exactly what you're looking for. And then you go to the black market. So yeah, we'll be talking about that stuff next week. Team plugs. Tomorrow you're streaming, but Thursday is a team stream with you and Vandal.
Yes, sir.
Destiny,
I'm gonna start
most likely.
Yep. Plan is I'm gonna start early, probably around like 5:30, and get some people in. Then we'll raid over to Vandal, and then I assume once I go to bed, because I'm an old man now. You and him might be doing some Call of Duty. Maybe. Who knows?
Possibly. Who knows?
Maybe if I'm still awake and you're out early, we'll play some GTA. Who knows?
There we go. And then on Friday we have our episode 8 of. Oh yeah, we have Nuked Verdansk tomorrow night. Yes, I'll be doing that tomorrow night. But that's not right now. That's shameless self plug. Not yet. We're talking about team stuff. Friday night for Dysfunctional Gaming.
Wait your turn, DD.
We are doing Stay on Brand episode 8. What are we talking about there?
We're talking about fucking superheroes.
We're going to talk about superheroes.
Fucking superheroes. I've got a couple of games in store for DD and Thundercat, because me and Vandal are huge raging nerd boners.
Once again, he
And-
said it again. Clip it, boners. He said boners
Yeah,
again. He's been
boners.
thinking about it all night.
Yeah, absolutely. I cannot get my mind off of huge throbbing boners.
Oh God.
Anyway,
There's the
I've got a
TikTok.
couple. I've got a couple of games planned for superheroes. Superheroes are super popular. I mean, I've spent almost the past 2 months waking up super early to watch WandaVision, and then I watch Falcon and Winter Soldier when I get home on Friday because I've learned to be a sane person. But we're gonna talk some fucking superheroes.
Cool. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, we have the release of episode 8 of Zombo Force. So we will be starting the stream roughly around 9:15, and then we will be showing it between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. So please try to get in there as soon as you can. Only on episode 9.
So I'm on episode 9. Are we on episode 9?
Are we on episode 9 for Stay on Brand?
Dude, time is relevant, man. We're episode X.
Episode 9, Stay on Brand, and episode 9 of Zombo Force on Saturday at 9:45-ish. So be there if you can to see the release of episode 9. We love you all there. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, we'll be on Twitch doing that. All that will be on this page right here. So what about you? Same shameless self plugs. What about you?
Hi, I'm GM Patch Nasty. You should follow me on Twitter at GM Patch Nasty. I also play games on Twitch. You should follow me on Twitter to figure out when I play games because I don't really like sticking to a schedule because it's not work to me. I hate it's a hobby. If you want to come in the Twitch, great. Type in GM Patch Nasty. If you see my mustache, you're probably in the right spot. If you see another dude with my mustache and they're talking and they have big giant titties, then it's not me.
Well done.
Follow me on Twitter at GMPatchNasty. Do it. Or if you
Something.
already... Go ahead.
Of Thundercat0420, you can follow me on Twitter and Twitch as well at those two things. And we are also Dysfunctional Gaming on Twitch and Dysfunctional Gaming TTV on Twitch. We have a Twitter. We also have a Discord. And
Look
we
for
have
the squid.
a
I'm touching its tentacles right now.
TikTok
Fingering the squid.
and an Instagram. We're on everything.
yeah.
So if you want to follow us on anything like that, go for it. But we'd rather you just follow us on YouTube and Discord. Thank you. Yeah. That's it. Let's raid someone. There's our link tree.
There's the link tree. Click that and then follow us on all the things.
Those are
All the things are nice. If you don't have a thing, you should get things.
Hey guys, this is normally where I would cut out our ending, but since GM Patch Nasty did such a wonderful job doing his Randy Newman, I figured I'd add that in at the end, and no one really will know what's happening except for me and anyone that listens to the podcast. So let GM Patch Nasty know how much you love his Randy Newman. Thanks.
Ooh, they got maps on the overlay.
All right, let's go.
Let's start getting there. I don't know what's going on.
Pressing that now. Pressing this.
Oh boy, we're raiding Exposhi 3 with another X with 4 raiders. We're gonna go say hello. Spam your emotes in the chat. There's
Raid.
the one. Go ahead and
Raid.
clip what DD said. Copy,
Raid.
paste, Control and C. Then Control and V once you get in their chat. Hope they're good. Don't know where I'm going. Keep on singing cause they're paying me to do this. I'm still enslaved from the Phasmo show. Can't keep going but I'm not gonna go slow. Don't know why this turning into bars cause I'm rapping. But let's keep on going cause it's happening. This is Randy Newman, I don't know the words. Boop-a-doop-a-doop. Toy Story 4 didn't pay me.